Hello, it's Sadie. I wanted to come on and do this video because I've been seeing this theme come up a lot over the last 2 weeks since the beginning of the new year. This is going to be a spiritual talk. I'm going to speak specifically on karmic relationships, karmic interactions, and narcissistic relationships. Okay. It's just been coming up for me personally and for people I know because we are in an 8 year. 8 is associated heavily with duality. It is also associated heavily with Saturn, which is the Lord of Karma. I felt like this is an appropriate time to do this video. So, the interesting thing about this year is that there are a lot of karmic cycles and karmic energies that are closing out. For some of you, you may see this occurring for you. Situations and relationships, and a timeline closes out, a new opportunity comes in, and that timeline that closed out, or that situation or relationship that ended, was something that has been kind of a drain or a burden on you for a long time. And you've been feeling it, but also sometimes when you're in these situations too, you've been dealing with a certain situation or person for so long that it's like you're not sure how to function without it, or there's a lot of fear and anxiety about it ending because it's kind of like it's familiar enough to you that you don't want to step into the unknown. But the one thing that I am picking up really, really strongly energetically is that at this time for all of us, if it's not serving us, if it's not helping us get to the next step of our evolution, of our self-empowerment, of our sovereignty, of our healing, it is literally being removed, or you're getting to a point where you can't deal with it anymore. I'm walking around, it's kind of raining, sort of sprinkling. It's been raining for like a couple days straight, but I just walked past a house where it's clear that the couple is separating, and the woman is just throwing boxes into a moving truck, and they're like yelling at each other. And I was saying a lot of prayers because a lot of people are going to experience this, whether it is personal relationships, romantic relationships, family ships, friendships, job situationships. There's going to be a lot of endings and things that need to close out during this time. And so I just felt like it was kind of an appropriate time to talk about it and kind of give you some, things to look for or things to look out for to kind of be able to signal if you're dealing with a karmic situation that needs to close out. So one of the things about karma is both good and bad. It's a very dualistic energy. And so we think of it a lot of times as a bad thing, but really karma is like the balancing mechanism for this earth realm. What goes up must come down. It is the law of the circle. What goes around comes around. And so it's just a way of balancing and learning lessons. Not always easy, not always fun. Trust me, I'm kind of going through this now where a big karmic cycle closed out in my life, and I didn't realize the ending of the situation I was in, and it was not a relationship, it was a career path. I didn't realize the ending of that was actually a massive karmic lesson that I needed to experience. But it was, hindsight is 20/20, and sometimes when you can step back and observe and let go of any sort of hurt emotions about something, you can actually see what you were not seeing, which was the channeled message that I posted last week. And so this is going to be a time where many of us, again, we're growing, we're evolving, we're moving forward. And because of that, there's going to be massive changes and transformation in our relationships, in our career, in our life path, in every area and aspect of our lives. And so to be forewarned is to be forearmed. This is not a time to be afraid. It's just a time to kind of be aware of the energy and what we are all sort of evolving into spiritually this year. So karma, let's talk about karma for a minute. I did a couple series of videos about karma early on in my page. So it would have been like almost 3 years ago, or about 3 years ago now this time. So one of the things that you can tell if you're dealing with a karmic situation, whether this is a person, whether this is a job, whether this is a friendship, a romantic relationship, is that there is a recurring pattern. You will see a recurring pattern. I'll give you an example. Say you always seem to attract the same type of person in your life. Someone who's a bully, someone who's domineering, someone who's narcissistic. If you see that that's a pattern of behavior and a pattern that you seem to attract, that is a big sign that that is sort of a karma that you need to learn the lesson of. You're attracting it because you need to have it mirrored back to you, whatever the lesson is. It could be a lesson of boundaries. It could be a lesson of standing up for yourself. It could be a lesson of loving yourself and pouring into yourself and making sure that your connection, whatever it is reciprocal and balanced. Whatever that lesson is for you, it's going to keep showing up until you kind of learn the lesson. So recurring themes and recurring patterns are a big sign of karma. Another kind of big sign of karma, or like if a relationship specifically is karmic, is that there's a lot of confusion and inconsistency. Now, I know this can be tricky because for those on the twin flame journey, there can be a lot of confusion and inconsistency too. But specifically when it comes to karmic relationships, the confusion and inconsistency tends to bring out the worst in you, tends to keep you trapped in very toxic, addictive cycles. And it also kind of will really impact like your sense of self, your self-worth. I remember I was in a long-term karmic relationship with someone, and over the course of years, being with that person really deteriorated my self-esteem and my self-worth, because their behavior would be, you know, when they were in a good space or when they were happy for whatever I was doing for them at the time or whatever, they would be very affectionate and very loving and very caring. But then if they were upset about something, it's like a switch flipped in them, and they would be very harsh and very cutting and very mean and very cold, and very passive aggressive. And so I kind of would be like walking on eggshells with this person, like, you know, and I started noticing that I would not be myself around this person just to kind of make them happy or to keep the peace or to keep, you know, things from being challenging or conflict. I would like avoid conflict at all costs with this person. So like I became sort of a shell of myself. I wouldn't really give my opinions. I wouldn't really like express myself in a natural way. That's a huge, huge indicator of like a karmic situation, a karmic connection, whether that is in love, whether that is in friendship, whether that is at work, where you have to like almost be a different person to kind of function in that environment. That's a huge telltale sign. And usually it's because of the inconsistencies that you receive from that person or from that situation, you know. The other thing that can be a very strong indicator of karmic relationships and karmic connections is just a level of imbalance. All right. Obviously, in a perfect world, which we do not live in, in a perfect relationship, which nobody has, it's 50-50, right? But at different times, we're at our best and worst. And so sometimes, you cannot give 100%, or sometimes you don't have, you're just in a space where you can do the best that you can with what you have. But if you find yourself consistently in situations where you are always giving, you are always doing, you are always the one who's paying for everything, you are always the one who is like literally holding all the wands, you're the 10 of wands and they're the ace of wands. Like, that is a highly inconsistent and highly imbalanced connection, which represents karma. Okay. And then if you try to like bring it up with that person, or try to bring it up with that situation, like, hey, I need more balance, or hey, there's no give and take. It's, gaslighting. It's, defensive behavior. It's anger towards you because you're asking for your needs to be met at one time. That's a huge indicator of a karmic connection, a karmic relationship. And we have these in every area of our life. That's why this video, it's not just about romance. It's not just about friendship. It's family, it's jobs, it's every area of our life where there's trauma, where there's healing to be done. You'll see that you'll sort of attract a similar situation or a similar person or a similar circumstance. And again, it's not a punishment from the universe. It's just to kind of bring it into your awareness, to help you see what you weren't seeing so that you can make a different choice. What is good about this year, though, is that we have this incredible opportunity with it being a Saturn year, with Saturn being in the energy of Pisces, with just being an 8-year itself, of clearing out unwanted karmic cycles and really receiving and accepting the blessings of Saturn, which is the good karma for all the work and all the deeds. And so that's something that's really good and really powerful about this year. But equally, this year could be a year where you can like fall back into karmic patterning, addictions, addictive behavior, and things that will kind of like be a harder path than the path that is kind of being presented to all of us right now, of moving forward and quantum leaping into our highest timeline and empowerment. And so one thing that I've been using over the last couple of weeks that's really, really helped me is this sort of prayer intention that I say. And so I'm going to say it here. For those of you who want to close out unwanted karmic patterns, unwanted karmic cycles in your life, where you feel like you've learned the lessons, but you're still kind of, in the thick of it and you're not sure how to get out of it, I suggest saying this or a variation of it. The only thing I will do as a disclaimer here, though, is that the first day that I said this prayer sort of intention, literally my entire life changed in like 2 days. Like where I lived, my car, it shifted so fast that I've had to kind of like, okay, take a step back and like really assess, okay, did I really want what I just asked for? Because that wasn't how I was expecting it to be. And so I share that because if you say this, understand it could change a lot for you very quickly. If you're saying to God, remove what's not good for me, it's going to be removed. That's something that you can guarantee, okay? So, not to scare you, but I'm just saying it I'm now starting to like get balanced again and replenish my energy. But it was a rough couple weeks there for a minute. So here is the intention / prayer. Higher self, Holy Spirit, Archangel Michael, whoever you pray to, whatever you pray to, use that. I ask now, and I set the intention to completely close out any and all unwanted karmic cycles that I have learned the lessons from and that are ready to be closed in my life at this time. I ask to cut the cords between myself and all people, situations, and things that no longer serve me, that no longer serve my highest good, and that are preventing me from stepping into my highest timeline and your highest thought for me in this lifetime. I ask that as the cords are being cut, you completely clear and dissolve any and all connections with any person, being, entity, or situation that is stealing my energy, that is usurping my energy, that is manipulating my energy, or that is an imbalanced, unhealthy energy for me to be attached to at this time. I lovingly release all that is not mine and return it back to the sender, wrapped in a bubble of love, cleansed and cleared so that it can go back to them for their highest good. And I ask here and now that all of my energy in any person, place, thing, or situation be cleansed and cleared and purified with the unconditional love of Source and sent back to me here and now so that I am at my full power to step into my highest timeline. I am asking with an open heart and an open mind for you, God, angels, higher self, Archangel Michael, to come in and intervene in my life and remove anything, any person, or any situation that is no longer serving me, and help me to see what I am not seeing so that I can move forward in joy, love, abundance, and balance here and now. Thank you, and it is done. If you say something like that, however you want to phrase it, I guarantee you there's going to be a lot that closes out in your life. You're going to see who people actually are in your life. That could be hard, but we're at a time. It is so important to own our power, to have all of our power within our use, where it's not being sucked out or drained or usurped or manipulated by others. And it's just, you need to understand that if it closes and ends for you right now, it's not for you right now. Doesn't mean that at some later time it might come back in a different form, or it might come back in a healed form. But if something's going to close out for you right now after you say that prayer and intention, understand that is for your best and highest good. So part of this video too, and why I wanted to do it, is because, again, right now it's just a very pivotal time in our ascension and our growth and our healing. And there's a lot of energies that want to keep those who are in the light and of the light stuck in fear and doubt and worry. And it is not an easy time. There's a lot of chaos in the air, but just trust God, trust yourself, trust your heart. If it doesn't feel right for you, it's not for you. No matter how much you may want it, or no matter how much on paper it seems like a good thing. That was the lesson for me, was like, on paper, this thing that I got involved in seemed like a great thing, and then at the end of the day it was not what it seemed. And I was getting signs that it wasn't, that things were going to turn and that it wasn't what it seemed. But I just felt this like compelling feeling that I was meant to do this thing, and I wasn't really listening to the signs and the red flags. So listen to the signs, listen to the red flags, trust yourself, trust God. Always know that no matter what you were going through, especially in a year like this where it's highly dualistic, that duality is a simultaneous experience, which means even if it seems like it's a challenge or it's going bad, understand that there is a great gift and blessing. Even if you can't see it right now, trust, have faith, and know that you are going to be supported for your highest good. All right, I hope this video helped. I'm sending lots of love. I will be back on once I kind of get my schedule balanced. Just my hours have been crazy and I've been sleeping a lot just because I've needed to kind of replenish my energy. So I will be back on soon. Sending love to everybody. Hope you guys are having a wonderful January so far. Take care.